Hey everyone, you are tuning into the America's Got Talent after show. We are going to be talking Judge Cuts 2 and 3 tonight, and we have a very, very special Golden Buzzer winner here with us tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, welcome to the America's Got Talent Season 11 Judge Cuts 2 and 3 after show. As I mentioned, we have a very special guest in house with us tonight. We had her here before, but we know a lot more now than we did last time. We have Golden Buzzer winner Sophie Dossi here with us. Woo! Where can they find you guys online?
At Sophie Dossy.
And you can find me on Twitter at Madison Cramer TV.
So, as I said, Golden Buzzer winner in the house. Woo. Big deal. Probably the biggest deal we've had in the studio with us thus far. So let's just start. We're going to start with Judge Cuts 2. We're going to talk about the 7 acts that made it through last week on Wednesday night. Starting with Golden Buzzer winner. Can you just, grace us with your presence and tell us a little bit about that moment? So, Sophie, obviously, contortionist, hand balancer, aerialist from the hoop and
neck
fire. Neck balancer, fire, breathing dragon, all of the above. Katniss Everdeen yet again. Tell us about that moment when Reba gave you the Golden Buzzer. What was that like? That must have been the most amazing experience of your life.
That was just amazing. When she said actions speak louder than words, I was like, okay, what's
Did you know that moment?
It was it took me a minute in my mind, and then she reached over, and I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening. It was crazy.
Has your life changed at all since winning the Golden Buzzer on America's Got Talent?
I mean, it's just been so cool. People on the internet are going oh my gosh, you deserved it. And, it's really sweet.
Awesome. So cool.
It's pretty iconic. Golden Buzzer.
Yeah,
is
that's what everyone wants.
It's as my dad said, AGT royalty. It really
there
is.
There you go.
You don't get a higher honor on America's Got Talent
than royalty in the studio.
Than getting a Golden Buzzer. When you and she was wearing a gold bodysuit too, so it was the most picturesque moment of all time. Your face was the most priceless. What was going through your head in that moment when your jaw just dropped to the ground?
Yeah, I was just oh my gosh, wow, just wow.
Speechless,
yeah,
pretty much. I mean, I was crying watching.
I was tearing up. I was this is the greatest thing. I was sitting in my bed.
Especially because we know Sophie, and I was again, like I always say, I'm sitting next to her now, and I just can't.
It's so different.
You're you have a Hannah Montana thing going on where you have this alternate life where you're just this awesome contortionist by day.
Yeah.
And then by night you're just a normal
chilling here, hanging out with us.
Girl. Yeah, it's crazy. It really
so
is.
Weird.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the big moment of last week. I mean, it's gotten crazy traction on the internet, hundreds, millions and millions of views all over across different platforms. Has your social media kind of grown again the last week?
Yeah, definitely. I've been getting a lot of people just going yeah.
Cheering me on.
What's something behind the scenes that an America's Got Talent Golden Buzzer winner could tell us about, that goes on behind the scenes on AGT? While you're on set, what do you guys do? Do you hang out? Do you practice?
Well, backstage, we hang out with a lot of contestants, and it's really fun because they're all super friendly, and you become best friends with some people.
Like who? Who are we friends with, Sophie?
Katie Lynn.
Shout out to Katie Lynn, who, by the way, is 12.
Insane.
I've been under the impression this entire time that she's 16, so sorry, Katie, if I messed that up last episode.
It's a compliment.
She's really tall.
She is tall. We'll get to Katie in a minute because she did an amazing job last week. But, yeah, that was epic. I mean, what a moment and what a cool experience to have as a teenager. Most kids don't have this guy. My high school years were not quite as exciting, to say the least. So after getting a Golden Buzzer on America's Got Talent, what comes next? What now for you?
Well, it's gonna be definitely crazier. There's yeah, it's just gonna be crazy.
More elements? Are we bringing in more danger?
Definitely more elements of danger.
It's all about the danger.
All about the danger.
All about the
And so you got sent straight through to the live show, so you didn't have to go through this horrible process that always makes me
Can't
cry,
imagine.
where they bring 2 people or 3 people up at a time, and they're like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You know, like, you're saying you're going.
Yeah, I was like watching that on the screen, and I was nervous.
Yeah, can you imagine even going up there for that? Like, I was like sick to my stomach watching from my couch, so I can't even imagine what it's like going up there and experiencing that. It's very nice that you didn't have to endure that. It's terrifying.
Yes.
Whew. Yeah. Dodged a bullet there. I guess if you could shoot a bow and arrow with your feet, you can dodge that bullet. Yeah,
you're fine with stress.
Totally fine. So, aside from more danger, is there anything else that you're like really looking forward to with the live shows for AGT?
I'm really looking forward to just showing the judges how like a person like who just watches like YouTube videos to just and just create their own.
Completely self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you said, I actually learned tonight that you've only been doing this for 2 years, which is crazy because, you think about people who have this crazy skill, like someone who's great at piano, they've like been playing for 20
Since
years
they were like
or
2,
something.
yeah.
So the fact that you've only been doing this for a couple years and you've mastered the skill so beautifully enough to get a golden buzzer again, like that is
crazy.
a huge deal. So yeah, that's the real deal. And very, very excited to see what comes next. I don't want to spoil anything because, live shows. Are you at all nervous for the live shows, like doing this? Because in the past it was pre-recorded and you kind of knew what everyone was going to see before they saw it. Now the viewers are doing this pretty much at the same time as you're doing it. So
I mean, like, it's in a way it's kind of the same thing. Like, you only do it once when you go out there and everything. But it's a little bit different because I'm a little bit more nervous because it's like it's live and like if you mess up, it's like, I mean, if you mess up anyways, but it's kind of, I don't know, that different feel.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just knowing that those eyeballs are on you as you're doing it is kind of intimidating, to say the least. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. There's going to be, like, a whole red carpet and stuff, too, which is,
I'm excited for
Do you know what you're going to wear? That's like a whole
Gotta figure that out.
I'm, like, going to get ready now.
Yeah, seriously, I'd
Start
be starting.
choosing.
I'd have to, like,
the
start
Dolby?
choosing.
Crazy.
Yeah, so you're going to be performing live in the Dolby Theater. And
oh, my God.
do you feel like there's some pressure going into the live shows now that you've won the Golden Buzzer on AGT?
Yeah, I feel like, like now that I got the golden buzzer, I really have to step it up even more.
Yeah, I feel like there is that added pressure. Like, the Golden Buzzer winners, I feel like, are kind of like an elitist group
best
now.
of the best,
Because I think by the end of the judge cuts, there's probably going to be, like, almost 10 of you, right?
Yeah.
Probably about 10 Golden Buzzer winners altogether. And so out of the 30 that go through to the live shows...
Well, actually 8 to be precise.
8. About
Come on now.
So she's good at math also. Like,
What can't you do?
I can't win around here. So there's about 10. The Elite 8 will get up there. I just feel like how it must be kind of intimidating for the other acts to kind of like look at you like you're the competition. You know what I mean? Like when people are setting the bar, they're going to set it at Sophie's level. Like, I think in terms of like contortion, dance, anything, like you're at the top for that bar.
Oh, yeah.
Grace is probably at the top for singing. Like Magic, we have Dorembus, the Philly.
Yeah.
So I feel like the people who have the golden buzzers are kind of where the bar is set for everyone who is coming to the live shows. Do you feel like that, or?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of how it's going to play out. All right, let's talk about some of the other acts that made it through last week. Let's start with Deadly Games. Woo! I can't watch
Their
this.
stuff was crazy.
Did you watch it live?
Yeah, I watched it live.
What was that like? Because I know they were very nervous because they had messed up in the run-throughs.
Yeah, I remember watching them and I was hoping, like,
hold your breath.
As soon as she started, like, spinning that, I'm like,
can't.
how do you do that, like, without, like,
Yeah, so as a reminder for everyone who watched last week like I did, she was strapped to a spinning circle.
Which fell in rehearsal
while her husband throws knives at her. And every time he threw one, I was like, am I going to hear it, like, go into her skin or into the wall? Like, I almost couldn't watch because it was...
Oh, yeah, I always have a hard time watching.
Cringeworthy.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where, like, do the judges have a sense of responsibility for her life if they keep putting her through? Because what did they said he's going to do it with his eyes closed next time?
Please. Or blindfolded or something.
Yeah,
like that,
she was like, I trust you with your eyes closed. I was like, please do not do that.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about that trick is, like, the other times I've seen it, it's usually like a magician's trick to where they pocket and palm the knives, and the knives pop out of the board. So, like, they're never really throwing the knives. They just, like, tuck it into their pants.
Interesting.
And the knife pops out of the board on the other side, so it looks like they're actually being thrown, but they're not. So it's a trick where, like, they actually did it.
Well,
so I was like, oh my god,
to
how do you practice that?
You do. Well, she's gotten injured a few times, they said.
Yeah.
But do you watch, anyone who's watch American Horror Story Freak Show?
Nope, can't do it.
In the American Horror Story Freak Show, they did this act, and it went terribly wrong. Let me just say that. So
Yeah. No,
I kind of have like a little PTSD from that episode of the show.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea in terms of show, but my roommate was watching it, and I came in at the wrong moment, to say the least.
I would say so.
So that's that act they're going through, needless to say. People like that stuff. It's similar to a couple of the acts we'll talk about tonight, where, like, the danger aspects, people love it. So, also going through Caden Bart Rocket.
So cute.
He's really good.
Like, how did he pop
How did they
up
do
there?
that? I mean, you probably know how they did it. I don't want to know. That was awesome.
I was like,
Where
oh,
were
the
those-
sister's not involved this time, and then rips it
Where
off.
were those gals coming out of the suitcase
That
from?
I don't know. That
They were just pouring out of the suitcase, and I kept looking under. I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
You
is
could
there a
see
picture?
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
No
was
idea.
crazy.
No
How old is he? He's like 7 or something too.
Yeah, they were so cute backstage.
Yeah, they're really cute, and so him and his
It's so
sister are
good,
great.
yeah.
He just pops up back in the audience. That
No
was
big
awesome.
deal.
So,
So cool.
they're a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what else they have to bring because I
Yeah.
love magic and I love kids. So
And on that note, somebody who didn't go through was this Steven.
yeah,
Very, very
I
good.
wish he got
Yeah.
through, yeah.
He is my favorite. There's actually a trending hashtag like Bring Back Steven.
And I think
Bring
a
back
petition
Steven, yeah.
even. People are signing to get him back on.
Is amazing.
So good.
His act was flawless. Like there wasn't a single
Yeah.
thing wrong.
I mean, inside
He creates
the
his
Rubik's
own
Cube.
Yeah,
Magic.
because I've never seen anything like that actually before. I've seen, like I've said in the past, I've seen people do Rubik's Cubes and I've seen people do magic, but
Yeah.
doing them combined is something new.
Putting
you know?
it, yeah. I'm
I-
really upset about that.
I'm
one.
pretty upset about that. I think that like it was maybe just a rough week for him to have been on.
Maybe.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
but I feel like he should have gone through. I mean, that was like
Without
spot
a
on.
doubt,
it was
yeah.
spot on. There was not a single thing wrong with that act. I don't know what happened there, but I was envisioning him going very far in this competition, so I would have voted for him for sure.
Yeah.
Next up is Velo Vaher. Is that how you say his name?
I don't know.
So he's our adult
Velo.
baby, contortionist, he does some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, he is super bendy and kind of funny. They showed his wife and stuff this time.
Yeah.
I think he's like a bit of a character, and I don't know how far he's gonna
Yeah,
go.
that's who I would
He's
have
like
had
a funny
instead of-
contortionist, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a comedian. I see. In my opinion, he's the one I would have swapped
With
out for
Steven,
Steven.
that's what I was gonna say, yeah.
if I had to pick one, because
Yeah.
we already
Yeah.
had a contortionist. You know what I mean? I think about the week, and if a contortionist gets a golden buzzer, why would they have not taken?
Yeah.
Why would they? You know, I don't know.
Well, technically, it's kind of a different contortion. I'm back arching, he's front arching.
Yeah, he is.
Sticking his head
He
between
folds
his
himself
legs.
in half. Yeah, you guys really couldn't be more different. Just saying, in terms of style.
The technical aspect of the
We're
contortioning.
like the exact opposites.
Yes, to say the least. But you know, he's
Can I
fine.
chime in here for a second?
Yes.
Okay. So I watched this episode, and his act was like cool, and like, oh, that's interesting, that's cool. I couldn't do that. Whereas like your act like took my breath away, and I was like sitting there speechless, like,
Right.
Yeah.
oh my
It's different
God.
stratospheres.
Yeah.
How is this possible? How is she hanging from her neck? How can she
we talk
bend
about
that
that
way
for a second?
so easily? Yeah, amazing.
Did that hurt? Like you held the hoop with your neck like a. I'm not gonna try to do it because I'm gonna look ridiculous.
Yeah, that trick is like very precise. Like, especially with the hoop spinning upwards and like the rig going up, everything has to be like super stiff. Like if like one body part moves, like you can like fall off your neck because it's like super, like it's hooked like right there, and like you have to be like super stiff and
still.
still. And like if you move, you have to be like very careful.
That's
takes so
crazy.
much concentration too. I feel like.
Yeah,
to
are you
focus.
like spotting while you're up there while it's spinning? I would be so nauseous.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't get dizzy.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah,
God.
I'm
That's
like
helpful.
immune to that.
Yeah, it's a
now.
good thing.
I'm like dizzy thinking about it actually. it's really it's pretty wild. Yeah, that was.
Plus, like whiplash because the neck's back, and then you got spinning.
And what's funny is like that part of the act is like not even the part that stands out the most, because the part that stands
Yeah.
out is like the fire shooting
but
off
the whole thing is just
But like you just think about the little things that go into an act like that. It's insane. Like even the things that are like, oh yeah, she's just doing that. It's no big deal. It's like no, that's probably extremely difficult.
hence the golden buzzer. Well deserved.
Exactly, very well deserving. Next up was Julia Scotti.
Love her.
I love her, the comedian. How is she?
Yeah.
Is she like a grandma backstage?
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like she's
yeah.
just like great.
I felt like she was like my grandma or something.
I feel like it's like she looks at all of you guys probably and is like, now what am I doing here? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in this like circus and here
Yeah.
I am like.
And that's what I love about her. She's so self-deprecating in her
She
act
is.
too.
And she's really funny. She's a good comedian. She has a really cool story. I loved like
Yeah.
her backstory about how she kind of is coming back to comedy now, and this is like really the place for people like that. I feel like this is her chance, and
Yeah.
I want to see her shine here, which was great. Similar to Moya Angela, who also made it through. A similar story, but a singer. You know, she kind of was working, and she was a teacher, wasn't she? Or
I don't remember.
I don't know exactly what she was doing, but she was not pursuing music full time, and now is going to do that. And she was
She was on Broadway.
yeah.
Broadway performer.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
which I don't think she was ever like in the spotlight. You know, she was
Yeah,
maybe more in the
it's harder to
background.
be,
but
yeah.
but you know, I think she's very well deserving of the attention she got and getting through for sure. Which brings us to another singer, Katie Lynn, Sophie's friend. She's awesome. She's really
cute.
And you know
Yeah.
what? You know what's good is she has Simon on her side, and as a singer,
Yeah.
that's huge.
I love her voice. It's so pretty.
It is, and she's a good guitarist, and
She's got the whole package.
she does. She has like a good look about her, you know. She's like approachable seeming,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
relatable for people who are listening to her music.
But at the same time, her voice is so mature sounding for her age.
Totally.
And it's just like, that's not what I would expect to come out of her mouth, but it does, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and she's like really pretty and cute.
Yeah,
and
she's adorable.
She has a really like she's definitely appealing. And then we have Sophie, the Golden Buzzer winner. So those are our 7. We have Deadly Games, Caden Bart Rocket, Velo Vaher, whose name I'm gonna ruin. Sorry, Katie Lynn, Julia Scotti, Moya Angela, and Sophie. Those are our 7 from last Wednesday.
There you go.
Solid group. I loved last week's episode.
It was really good.
As we said, the Tuesday and Wednesday last week really killed it. That was like
yeah.
probably my favorite 2 this season, I would say
Definitely.
so far. They were awesome. Really fun ones to watch. But that brings us to Judge Cut's 3, tonight's episode. We opened with the dancing dog. what did you guys think about that?
Carrie's adorable. Little Carrie. I love when they name dogs like a human's name. I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny.
The fact that her name's Carrie.
It was kind of like cute and interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
It is. I kind of agree. With Simon thought it was great, but the others kind of thought it was boring. Heidi was like, it gets a little repetitive, and Mel was like,
can
you
see
know,
that.
and I do see that. I mean, we've talked about the Olite dogs that have won before, and I think I compared this act to them in the past. They had a lot of dogs doing kind of stuff like this. This was just one, and with an act like this, when you're kind of a solo or a duo, it's really hard to fill the stage. There's a few that do that to do that well. I feel like you need to have other elements in it. Like kind of what you do, you're a single person on the stage, but there's so
You're
many other
up and
things.
over.
Exactly,
Yeah.
there's so many other things that it fills the entire room. Whereas with this, it's like 2 small things next to each other that it's kind of harder to fill the entire room with.
Yeah. I mean, she's adorable with her little skirt, little dog. And she's having a great time. It looks like
Yeah.
she's like
Yeah.
smiling.
It looks like the dog's having such a great
Right?
time.
Dogs are more fun than her.
Yeah.
Than her
Oh, yeah,
human.
by far.
Yeah.
Definitely. Next up was Daniel Joyner. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. He is like Michael Bublé. Who is this kid?
Completely changed from his first
Completely
audition.
changed from his first
Yeah.
audition. We saw that with a few of these singers, like a couple of the groups last week, like Lincoln Bridge. And
Yeah.
it's amazing to see his transformation from
Crazy.
audition to now. His stage presence was insane. Also, like a perfect
Yeah.
song choice. He said, "It's a new dawn. It's a new day." I'm not even gonna try to sing it.
I love that song.
Me too. There's a lot of good music tonight in
Yeah.
tonight's episode,
Yeah.
but he's amazing. He's only 17.
And he obviously takes criticism really well because he took what the judges told him in his first audition and
Yeah.
applied it.
Taking criticism must be hard. I mean, you haven't really faced a ton of that in AGT yet, but like I'm sure you faced it in your life. How does that feel when you do a performance and someone is like, "I didn't like this, this, and this"? You know, does that suck?
I mean, like, part of you, like, in your head kind of goes, like, aw. But, you know, you have to take that criticism and then just go, okay, but this criticism is going to help me.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what he did.
He really
definitely.
did.
Yeah.
He was great. I was really impressed with his performance tonight, and thus he made it through down at the end. He was one of our 7 of the night. He was awesome. This is one of those like instances where I would listen to this cover in my car, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that's always a say for me, because on The Voice, which is a singing show, which I have to compare these singers to, the whole thing is like, would you buy their song after? And that's how they get points, like votes. I would listen to this song. I would listen to this cover.
Definitely.
It was really good. Sounded like the original, which is hard to do with some songs. Covering is tough.
Yeah.
Next up, we saw Ilan and Josh, our Jewish noisemakers. Simon said it got worse from last week.
They cut really
I
fast.
mean, they kind of went through it fast, so I
Yeah.
couldn't hear it, but like kind of what I heard was like it was really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where it was like, I'm like sitting there trying to figure out how they do that.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Nice
know.
little Jewish boys figuring out what, like,
Figuring out how to
make
beatboxing.
noise.
It sounds like EDM DJ music, but
Something.
like
I
I don't even know.
I
how
wish
to,
they'd showed more this episode.
I know.
It's hard
Well,
to tell.
I think because they didn't make it through, they
Yeah.
kind of just got a little snippet, unfortunately. But
Foreshadowing.
yeah,
Should have known.
sad. But they I thought were kind of cool. I feel like it's like that's more, I would say, of a hobby than a talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on the stage like that doesn't fill the space for me. It's not like, it's not even like they're singing in the sense where like when someone is standing up they're belting, that
You're not
really
wowed by it, yeah.
fills a room.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like they're making kind of smaller noises, and it's more of like, let's
Yeah.
do this for my friends on a Friday night. And
It's a good party trick. I
Really good
wish I
party
had
trick.
that.
really good, yeah.
They'll probably perform it at their weddings.
Yeah, yeah. It's perfect. They don't have to pay anybody.
No pay anyone. I'm going to perform my own
There you go.
beatboxing thing. Next up was the Finest Family. They were like a DJ, EDM, hip-hop dance group. Simon said it wasn't as good as the first time. That was kind of like a theme, I feel like, tonight, with acts being better the first week than they were now.
Yeah, especially like this week.
Yeah.
They kept on saying that.
They kept saying that, and I feel like last week and the last 2 episodes of last week, it was more like, you've stepped up your
Yeah.
game since the first round. And there were a few of those tonight, like Daniel, but I feel like for the most part
Overall.
tonight, it was like with Good Girl, we'll get to them and stuff, it was like, you were great the first time, and then I think they psyched themselves out, or I think it must be really hard, I bet especially after winning a Golden Buzzer, but like, you constantly feel like you have to do something bigger. Is that
Yeah.
like really intimidating?
Yeah, it's you kind of just gotta think in your head, okay, what am I gonna do next now? Like, what am I gonna do next now? Like,
Do you have like a bag of tricks up your sleeve? Like, okay, so if I do this week, I feel like that's kind of hard though, because do you have to save some? You
Yeah,
know,
you kind of have to save some, but at the same time, you can't.
you
Like,
can't hold back
You
because
can't really hold back. Like, I kind of went like all out, and but you also have to save a little bit. You can't just go like
because at the same
crazy.
time they want you to switch it up. They want to see something more.
Yeah.
But it's like it must be really, you have to strategize. Like, am I gonna give this and then?
Yeah.
But what if I make it another week? Then I've already done that. you
Yeah,
know?
but then if I don't, I still want this to be
then
a
you'll
lot.
exactly
You know?
you'll regret not doing it. That must be so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And singers don't have to deal with that because they're just.
They do have song choice though.
They do, that's true.
Which I think is a huge deal. Like
Yeah.
if you,
I think it is like still a little bit difficult because they have to like choose a song
Right.
That fits them.
And if
Yeah.
they choose like a song one week, they'd be like, if I had just saved this one
yeah,
for
that is true. Yeah.
farther down.
They have their songs that they know they. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who's made it at least this far as a singer has like the ones that they know that they can slay.
Yeah,
at, you
yeah.
know, like you probably have tricks that you're like, I know I can do this like slam dunk every time. You know, and I feel like the same goes for like a singer or a
Yeah.
dancer or whatever. You know, so we'll see. But yeah, that must be really tough. Like planning in your head what to bring and what not
Yeah,
to bring.
I can
and
imagine.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, stresses
Too much
me out.
stuff happening.
Yeah. Next up was one of my favorite acts of the night, Blake Voigt, the magician.
Oh yeah.
Sophie's brother is a fan of him, actually, via YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, away from the show. He is awesome.
Incredible.
So what he did was he ripped the corners off dollar bills and then put them in his mouth.
Which
and
is
then,
gross because you don't know where those have been. But
yeah, just
That's
there's,
fine.
like probably diseases on there.
Right.
But anyway, there was a 1 and there was a 100.
Yeah.
And he put the 1 corner on the 100 and the 100 corner on the 1 via putting it in his mouth and pulling it out.
I don't
Yeah.
even have a guess for how.
I don't have a guess.
I'm
and
just like,
for me, this is one where like I don't want to know because that's magic to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, we were talking about this a little bit while we were watching. I have a little bit of a problem with what people as viewers do with magic tricks on this show. Is like they'll go frame by frame and try to figure it out, or they'll go look it up on YouTube and then post it all over the internet in the comments like this is how they did it. For me with magic, like I just want it to be magic. I don't want to know how they do it. Like, it's more fun as a viewer and like as an audience member just to like let it happen rather than try to be a detective.
Yeah, and if you were gonna go see it live, a live show of them,
you're not gonna
you're not gonna be frame by frame of them in person.
Exactly.
So
except my brother would probably do that. He does a little bit of magic, so he probably wants to know.
Well, I think as a magician, that's one thing. It's like if you are studying this and like I want to. Maybe AGT's in the family.
I was gonna say, your brother gonna go on next? Magician?
He does like a little hand magic. Like,
card.
No, he could go to the judges. Maybe see another Dossy.
Another Dossy next year. That would be fun. He could just bring you up in the background. Like, by the way, she'll be contorting back there. Is that a word, contorting?
Contorting, yeah.
There you go. I think I said contortioning earlier, so that was my bad.
Contorting.
Contorting. Here I am with my lingo.
Yeah.
But for Blake, Simon even gave up in standing ovation. You called that. You're like, ooh, Simon standing. It's a big deal when Simon stands.
Yeah.
I've seen multiple times where like 3 of the judges are standing and Simon's still like
of course
sassy face in the corner. But like when he stands, you know, that means it's the real deal. Simon loves magic, which is so
fascinating.
Fun. It's so fun to watch him talk about magic because you just expect him to like singing, but he's the one who kind of planted the seed in my head this season of it's like, no, there's no trick here. This is just magic. You're like you're a witch or you're a wizard.
It was pretty funny because like with the $100 bill and the one on side, he like kept on like playing.
I know.
On the side, while they were just talking, he was just like, "What is this?"
He was. All the judges were like giving their opinions, and Simon was stuck in the corner, like really dissecting.
Like this multi-millionaire trying to figure out this like little magic trick.
Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have done the same thing. It was really cool. I wonder where those are. Those 101.
Do you think they work still? How does that work?
If I was like a store, I would want it just to like frame.
Like there's a one on my corner, like on the.
Plus, you have like 2 signatures on there.
That's true.
That
could go for
George Lopez.
Lopez.
Oh yeah, we forgot to even talk about him tonight. George Lopez was here. My bad.
He was on.
He was our guest judge tonight. Well, I guess I would have gone to him when we got to the Golden Buzzer anyway.
That's true.
But yeah, George Lopez was here. He's a fun one to have because he's a comedian, and so we had a few comedians tonight, so it's nice to like bring someone in with some skills. I always think though that they should have someone in like a dance-ish background to be a judge because it's so hard for them to even wrap their mind around what you do. You know, whereas I feel like if like Julianne Hough was on the panel,
they don't have
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone like her can at least be like, okay, I can maybe imagine myself even attempting doing something like this, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like it's sometimes really hard for them to judge people who do things that are just so far out of their world.
Yeah, which is also what confuses me about Heidi being on the panel.
Yeah, Heidi,
that's a whole other story.
She's a television personality, so that's kind of what
Bringing
it comes
the
down to
ratings.
for her. Yeah. She's
I feel like
beautiful.
lately she actually has though been like
she has really good things to say.
When the other judges like go like, oh, we love this, like she's the one actually who says
she's critical.
Like,
yeah, she is. I think it's because she's been on the show now for a while.
She's
and she understands. I think she's kind of picking up on Simon's vibes of like this is how to discover talent.
Yeah.
More so, which is like a talent in its own.
Yeah. Definitely.
Next up is Alla and Daniel, the mother and son duo. This
so
kid
cute.
can move his hips. Like, what?
So precocious. His stage presence, so good. Love him.
Like,
he was just jamming out there. He was like,
and then
he's suave. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to say these words. I'm going to regret these words coming out of my mouth.
Okay, go
But,
for
like, why does an 8-year-old have, like, sex appeal? But, like, doesn't he? He moves, like...
No, he's got like swag.
What?
He's got it. Like imagine him at like 18.
I don't know what the ladies are gonna come crawling.
They are.
Like,
if he's already got it now.
At
Like,
8.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, to even have that kind of stage presence and comfort with dancing at such a young age. He's like literally a child. Most kids are like learning how to do multiplication tables, and here he is, slaying it on the dance floor. Like,
yeah.
It's beyond me. They made it through, which I was really happy about.
Yeah.
And I like was,
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to.
I
so
think
I'm
it's
glad.
like the cutest thing that he's doing with his mom too.
They have such a unique dynamic
It
because of
is.
that. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, like I'm just dancing with my mom, and it's like it actually like is very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's similar to the Lori Mae Hernandez thing, where it's like you hear about like a kid dancing with his mom, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, am I gonna force myself to like this right now? Am I gonna like have to fake laugh for Lori, or am I gonna have to fake clap?
Yeah.
But no,
No.
both
Yeah.
of them.
Not at all.
It's like they come out and they kill it. Like it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like real pure talent. That's like clearly somewhat God given, because you don't just like know how to do that at 8 years old. Like,
yeah,
that's
the whole thing. Yeah.
it's born in his soul, man.
Oh, yeah.
Next up was Charles and Rose, which we've talked a lot about Rose before. Ugh.
I mean, they're definitely entertaining.
It was a striptease tonight, like
Yeah.
a full-on
Yeah.
striptease. I was like pretty uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah.
Heidi gave him an X, and I don't disagree with her, because I think as a viewer, this isn't talent. I'm just gonna put that out there. She's funny. She's like charming and like is entertaining to watch on TV.
She was kind of like she was really funny, but
Yeah, she could be like a
Comedian.
Glozell type of personality.
Yeah,
Just
like- She should just move to Vegas. She doesn't
She
need her
should.
own show, but she
No.
would just thrive in that environment. Yeah, she did a leg lift. I literally wrote, "Oh my god, ew!" Like, it's just, I don't need to see that like on most people, much less.
I mean, good for
I'm
her.
not
though,
body
getting it all the
shaming
way
her.
up.
I'm not aging her anything. I think it's awesome that she does what she does.
Yeah.
But do I think it's talent? No.
Probably not for this stage. Yeah.
If I could do it, like I said, that's always my thing. If I could do it, it's not talent.
I can't do it, so
I could do
We'll
that.
You'll be the.
I'm not gonna, but I could dance up there and just go like this,
I
pretty
can't.
much.
My leg get like
Yeah.
inch off the ground. That's
I
about
think it's
it.
I think it's more of like that's just like a fun thing that
Yeah.
her and her husband do on the weekend.
Which is like totally cool. Go for
Totally
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Live your life.
I respect them. I think they're funny, but we're at a point in this competition where there's no room for people like that. You know, like after the auditions, I understand bringing like someone like that through because people are going to tune in to see them again just to see what they do. But we're at a place now where like everyone that's made it through is actually genuinely talented,
Yeah,
and there are people that didn't make it, like Steven and people
You can't afford to have people who
and
aren't.
even Skylar, Skycats Raps. I mean, people who have real talent aren't making it through, so how can someone like that even be in the running,
Yeah.
unfortunately? Next up was Mason the Karate Kid, which I just needed to bring him up because when he left tonight, I was like in tears. Mel B
sad.
gave him this like beautiful speech and moment about how people are going to say no to you and that you have to just like keep fighting.
So cute. I hope he keeps fighting. He's so cute.
Yeah.
He has so much
Yeah.
potential already.
Karate
He's young.
Kid.
Yeah.
He's really good. I mean, what he does is cool, but I mean,
Not
is
for
it
a-
is it
yeah.
America's Got
It
Talent?
was pretty cool though, like him throwing like these weapons.
No,
Yeah,
the
he's
chucks
throwing-
are-
yeah.
What were those? I don't know.
It looked
Anyway.
like they're like axes or something. He was like doing.
Yeah, there was
it.
there
It
was some
like, pretty
danger
crazy.
there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, in comparison to the other acts tonight, it didn't
Yeah.
quite make the cut. Next up was Tape Face, who I love. Which Sophie said he doesn't always wear the tape backstage, which is good to know because I don't even think I would recognize him
No,
without the
yeah.
tape at this
Yeah.
point.
And all the eye makeup.
Well,
Yeah.
backstage, I actually didn't know who he was.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
I was like walking and I saw this guy like with like makeup on his eyes. I thought he was like a rocker or something.
Yeah,
I'm like,
oh,
which
yeah,
contestant is that?
Yeah, like I don't remember you.
That's so
Which by the
funny.
way, they keep doing that. They bring people back for like
Yeah.
a hot minute, and then they like let them go, but we never even saw their audition. So I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like Dominique, the piano
Yeah.
singer. Like I didn't know her from the first week, and then you bring her back and
then
show
she's
her,
out
and then
again.
she's out. It's
Yeah.
like I almost wonder why I'd
Yeah.
rather spend more time with people that we have remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of hope like they did like a clip of her or something in the first.
Yeah.
episode.
Right, like just a snippet, so we knew who she like. If you're already showing her in the second round, like it's almost confusing for people maybe tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, is this an audition again?
Yeah.
No. Anyway, Tape Face did some great like airplane and then skydiving thing,
Yeah.
which was really funny. I
That
mean,
was
he's great. Like I said last time, like being a comedian and not using words.
I was gonna say the
Yeah.
stage presence
Like a
without
mime, yeah.
speaking.
Yeah, he is like a mime actually. He uses his eyes for expression. Like I don't even know how he does. And he uses very small props, like what was he using, like a straw or something?
Yeah.
No, it was a toothbrush.
A toothbrush. You're right. He uses like really small, simple props like that, or the oven mitts, you
Yeah.
know. But he makes them hilarious and
Yeah.
makes it really
Yeah.
big.
His gestures, just everything that
Yeah.
he uses other
I
than
thought-
his mouth.
yeah. I thought he was gonna put tape on Howie because he was like.
That's
ripping
right.
it.
Yeah, it's very captivating. He brings Howie up and he makes a tape face with him, and like sings from the envelope in his stomach, which was really funny. It was
like
just
a 3-year-old in like a 30-year-old's body.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's awesome. It was just like, and watching all of his interview bits are just funny. He's like a character, and will go far on the show, I think, because people just kind of want to see weirdos like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we always talk about this, but where else on TV is someone like that gonna go?
Yeah.
This is the space for him, and
Definitely not The Voice. We won't be going there.
yeah, no chair turns because no one can hear anything.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that, actually.
I think it's cool that he uses like everyday household items, because like someone watching that at home might pick up an oven mitt and embrace like their imagination and their inner child and
Like
like,
Sophie, how
and
she-
be fun. Like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's awesome. They were talking about that tonight, actually. How he said, he's like, I feel like kids all over America tomorrow are going to be doing this at school, or at least attempting to.
Yeah, and I also think he could be like the next Tim Burton animated movie. Would
Totally.
be like Tape Face and the story
See
of
that.
Tape Face.
And it could just be like a 30-minute... I almost see it like being like a short.
Like
short,
a
yeah.
Pixar short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before you go see Toy Story kind of thing.
That would be really cool.
Get a lot of exposure from that.
Yeah, I feel like he could have like a really cool, even if that doesn't work out for him, like a cool like YouTube web series.
Oh yeah, he
of,
could
like,
do a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do with that, and it's cool, it's unique. I again haven't seen anything like this before. So, and I've been watching this show since the beginning, and so seeing something totally unique and new is cool for me.
Yeah.
You know, like there are a few acts that you just kind of feel like you've seen before or something like it. Him, never seen anything like it. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'm very excited for him. Next up was Good Girl. They sang This Is How We Do It. Simon literally said, I hated your song choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what
It was
does that feel
definitely,
like?
it was a weaker episode overall we were talking about, and I think he was a little harsher, but I think he should have been. Because, like we said, some people just, compared to their first audition, they were going down, not up, where you need to be going.
Yeah, same with Dominique. And then we get to Madison Watkins, who's a singer who I actually loved. She sang Let It Go by James Bay.
Yeah, I think I saw her at the taping I went to, and they didn't show her, I don't think, her first audition, but I saw
Was she good in person?
Yeah, she was really good. I loved her, and I had kind of forgotten about her, and then I saw she was on tonight, and I was like, oh my gosh, she was so good. I don't know.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has a really good name, so congratulations.
Yeah, I thought she was amazing. I was actually bummed she didn't make it through. That was just a tough moment that they had to choose between her and another talented singer. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for her. But I hope this isn't the end of her. I want to hear more of her music. She was really, really good.
Yeah.
She sounded like almost exactly like her.
Yeah, she did. It was a really good cover. James Bay sings that song, but yeah, it was a really good cover. I thought it was great. Next up was our Golden Buzzer winner of the night, right? Yep, Malevo. Which I understand why they're a Golden Buzzer winner, because they literally are an entire Vegas show wrapped up and tied in a bow. They have drums, they have jump ropes, they have ramps and tap dancing. Like, they literally do everything. And I remember saying that when we first saw them. I was like, this group can do everything.
Which is what they're looking for on this show. It's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you think? Did you get to see them at all, or no? Not in person yet?
I actually got to see them in person. I remember it was like right after they got the Golden Buzzer. They were all backstage and they were dancing. And in fact, the guys were like, "Shush, we're filming." That's what I was
so
like.
funny.
You could tell they were all crying and hugging, and you could tell they're
was
so
a really
close
good moment.
and so passionate about it. They had so much emotion. The judges kept mentioning passion, which stood out so much. And when they started tap dancing, I was just like,
Who knew they could do that?
so cool, so cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really solid performance, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the live shows. I feel like they kind of brought new stuff this time from what they did last time, so I'm sure they'll bring even more.
Yeah.
But again, like, for a Golden Buzzer moment, I like something, like, big and emotional, and, like, I didn't cry.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
So, just saying. I don't know. Nothing against them, but
They
if I'm not
cried, so
crying,
that was...
Yeah, they cried. Next up was Ian Stewart. He did some, like, bow and arrow, what are those called? Crossbow. It was unfortunate because it was actually kind of cool, but he didn't have any stage presence, which made it kind of boring and awkward.
Yeah, Mel was like, is he going to talk, or...
Right.
I think what first made it awkward was when the balloon. So that weird. That
What
was like so
happened?
strange.
Yeah,
It
and
just like when like. And there's like the balloon
doesn't
still floats.
deflate.
It's like kind of. I asked Sophie, I was like, "Do you use balloons?" And she was like, "No, that's why." You never know what's
Good
gonna
choice.
happen.
Good idea.
Yeah, so that was a little bit uncomfortable to watch.
But then the through the legs thing.
It was really cool.
it was
but,
cool.
But I felt like it was almost too fast for me to see.
That's true. Going
Yeah.
off each. Yeah.
Which that takes crazy precision, like we were talking about with some of the stuff that you do. Like that had to be lined up perfectly for that to work.
If he misses that one,
doomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, didn't end up making it through, and I think that was just because, unfortunately, his stage presence wasn't there.
Yeah.
Next up was Ryan Stock and, what's his girl's name? Amber Lynn.
yeah.
Ew! I
couldn't look
can't
at
really
them.
talk to this because it was so nasty. He the first thing he saw him do was put a blowtorch out on his tongue.
Like a hat, like... I was like he was
Nope.
probably gonna just be like,
Gushing in
hello,
blood.
Yeah, he had a little
hello.
list going on after that one.
Yeah. I don't... Is that talent or is that just, like, a freak
Stupid.
show?
Sorry.
Yeah, kind of. He puts a chainsaw and a drill, like, the drill went down, like, into his small
I got
intestine.
nauseous.
Or something.
It's like I've seen sword swallowing, but I have not seen that.
A moving drill.
Oh my gosh.
Completely nauseous.
Yeah. I mean, Howie did say something, like, as much as people hate it, there are people that love it that much. And I think that's why they made it through, because these people, like, similar to last season's The Professional Regurgitator, like, people love watching gross, weird stuff like that. And so I think that he just made it through because it was, like, appealing to a certain audience. Next up was the homeschooled comedian Ryan Beard, the singing comedian, and it didn't go so well tonight. Simon actually X'd him.
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to watch. The X we were saying is really jarring. Is it really loud in person?
Oh yeah, I remember I was backstage in the auditions, and we were like filming something, and I remember like someone hit the X, and I just like jumped up because you were not expecting it.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably really hard to have that happen.
yeah.
Like, how
And
do
it's
you-
like so loud in person.
And so how do you like continue going?
yeah.
I'd be like, ugh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. It was really sad because I loved him the first time. He was so
It was,
cute and he was so
yeah.
different. So I was kind of upset.
Yeah, so unfortunately he didn't make it through. Next up was Sam Morrill, who is a comedian and apparently has had some success. He's on like the comedy Sirius radio and is FaceTiming with Amy Schumer.
No big deal.
Casual. I don't think he made it through, but you know, I feel like he's already on tour with Amy Schumer or something. So
I think he's got it.
He's gonna
He's
be
fine.
okay. He was pretty funny. I
He
laughed
was.
at
That
his-
hoarder
Yeah.
joke about him being the only thing they can get rid of.
Yeah,
Like, that's
about his
hilarious.
ex-girlfriend. Yeah, it was funny, but unfortunately it didn't make the
Yeah,
cut.
but he'll be fine.
He'll be okay. I hope
Amy
his
Schumer. Take her under.
his comedy career
Wing.
continues. Yeah, I think there are just other comedians in the competition right
Yeah.
now that are stronger.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
definitely.
at least better for this kind of stage. Which leads us to our final act of the night, Brian Justin Creme.
Love him
Goddess, literally. Like, I
Yes.
don't even know. I've worked. He's beast mode singer. He's saying "I'm a creep," which we found out he has some Broadway background and. He's extremely, extremely talented. And in the beginning, I was a little concerned about the song choice because it was softer and slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he going to belt it out? Like, I want to hear him belt it out.
still. And he did.
He gave me what I wanted. He gave the people what
Oh
they
yeah,
wanted.
and the payoff is so worth it when he
It
finally
is.
does. It just builds and builds, and you're
I'm
like,
like,
when's it gonna
do it!
happen? And then it happens, and then he brings it back down, which is like amazing.
To have that control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good, so good.
Yeah, the way he can control his voice is like how she can control her
Yeah.
splits in the air. Very impressive stuff. So that brings us our 7 acts are All-In Daniel, the dancer, mother and son. Daniel, our 17-year-old singer, Tape Face, Ryan and Amber Lynn, Blake, the magician with the doll, Blake Voigt, Brian Justin Creme, and then Maleva, our Golden Buzzer winner. Which of these was your favorite tonight?
My favorite had to be Brian Crumb
Brian?
again. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't as strong of an episode, so nothing really stood out to me. But he wowed me again. I would say he was my favorite. But my least favorite was Ryan Stock and Amber Lynn because I can't look, which I've
Right.
said before, and I get that there's a niche for that. But that's me. No.
What about you? Which was your? I won't make you say least favorite because these are your friends. These are your people. But which of those of the ones that made it through tonight was your favorite?
I don't know. I sort of like Maleva only because like they kind of like filled the
cool.
stage.
Yeah,
It's very
did fill the
Vegas,
stage. Yeah,
yeah.
it was awesome. I would say my favorite of the night was Blake Voigt, the magician, just because I was pretty mesmerized, and I still am trying to think about how he did that, and I want to watch it again, and like you were saying that he has some cool stuff up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I want to check it out, but I also don't because, like I said when we were watching, I feel like if I look these people up on YouTube, it's going to
Yeah.
spoil what they're going to do in the show.
We were saying that with Tape Face, right?
Yeah, with Tape Face, because he has a lot of his stuff online, and even with Sam Morrill, actually, Sophie's dad was joining us while we were watching, and he had actually already heard that exact same comedy bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like you shouldn't if you're gonna try to watch this week to week, look up the people, and because even with your like on your website, there's a picture of you with like the fire, and so if I had looked that up before watching last week's episode, it would have ruined the fact that I knew she was gonna do that. You know.
Except this next week's one,
Not
none
online.
of it's anywhere.
Is it? Have you done this trick before?
I've never done it in front of an audience.
Live,
The
folks.
stakes.
You heard it here first.
Stakes are high.
So
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Oh my
Sophie
god.
Dossi. New trick on America's Got Talent live shows. Better tune in.
Oh yeah.
August 2nd, y'all. Okay, well, that is kind of all we have here tonight. Where can they find you online if they want to continue the conversation?
You can find me on Twitter at Madison Cramer TV.
Sophie, where can they hit you up to ask about Golden Buzzer moments?
at Sophie Dossy.
With an F.
Yeah, S-O-F-I-E.
Important.
Well, thank you, Sophie, again for joining us.
Yes, thank
Filled in
you.
for Megan for us tonight, / came as a royal guest of honor, Golden Buzzer winner. Super happy to have you.
Yes, always.
Always welcome back. And my name is Dani Golub. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dani Golub. It was great hanging with everyone tonight and talking AGT.
Yeah.
We will be back next week to talk the last round of judge cuts and some other fun stuff. So see you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.